Okay, today's course is numerology, and we're studying from the topic of attitude problem. The topic for today in numerology is attitude problem. Attitude problem. Okay, and we're also going to study about concord numbers as well. Concord number. First, I'll give the explanation of attitude problem. Remember the last time we studied about attitude number, which is the explanation was given in that particular topic. All right. Attitude number. Hold on, please. So the attitude number, when we studied about attitude number the last time, it is the day and month of your birth. Remember the day and month of your birth. That is your attitude number. Okay, so the attitude problem is the definition I'm about to give right now. All right, it says, I'll just give a little explanation of that so that you can catch the definition itself. You know how sometimes you are on the same page with someone and sometimes you are not. This is largely due to your attitude number. All right, if you are going to be on the same page with someone, or if you will not be on the same page with someone, it has to do with your attitude problem. Okay, so this is largely due to your attitude number, which determines both your approach to life and your cycles. If you want to examine your compatibility with someone, take a look at your attitude numbers together. If your attitude numbers are in the same concord, you are off to a great start. And most of the time, you and this person will be in balance. I'll take this explanation again. Attitude problem is a situation where you can either be on the same page with someone or not, which has to do with your attitude number. Okay? This determines both your approach to life and your cycles. If you want to examine your compatibility with someone, you take a look at your attitude number together. If your attitude numbers are in the same concord, you are off to a great start. And most of the time, you and this person will be in balance. All right? The most telling way to reveal disharmony or incompatibility is through stress numbers. All right? Stress numbers. If you want to determine, if you want to tell the way of incompatibility or compatibility with people, it doesn't matter if this person is your partner or wife or husband or friend or co-worker. It doesn't really matter. The most telling way to reveal disharmony or incompatibility is through stress numbers. Calculating a stress number is one of the only times you will use subtraction. Okay, in this method, we're going to use subtraction, before we keep adding numbers together. In this case, it is subtracting numbers. All right. The most telling way to reveal disharmony or incompatibility is through stress numbers. All right. The stress number will be defined here as well. Calculating a stress number is one of the only times you will use subtraction in numerology. To get there, subtract the smaller attitude number from the larger. All right. So now, remember, the attitude number is the day and month of someone's birth. not including the year. The year is not included. It is the day and month of someone's birthday. Okay, so I'll also go ahead and give the definition of concord number, because concord numbers goes hand in hand with this particular topic. All right. Concord numbers in numerology are three unique numbers. Sometimes they could be called triads. All right. They are three unique numbers that usually goes together. Three unique numbers that usually goes together, and they are as follows. The first concord or triad numbers are 1, 5, and 7. Number 1, 5, and 7. That's those are three numbers that goes together, which is called concord number, or you can either also call it triad. All right. The next three numbers that goes together are 2, 4, and 8. 2, 4, and 8. Okay. The third row, which is another set of concord numbers or triad numbers, they are 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9. So I'll go again with this, because this particular concord numbers are very important for you to understand your compatibility or incompatibility with someone. All right. First row of the concord number or triad numbers are 1, 5, and 7. Please, you can use your pen to write down, because when we start calculating this, you will need it for your explanation. All right. The first row of concord numbers are 1, 5, 7. These three numbers go together, 1, 5, and 7. The next row of concord or triad numbers are 2, 4, and 8. 2, 4, and 8. The last row of the concord numbers or triad numbers are 3, 6, and 9. 3, 6, and 9. That is it for the concord numbers. And I will go ahead later, or I would just, let me just give the explanation of these numbers that I have given before we delve into the attitude problem, okay? Because if I don't give the definition, you will not understand it. Let me just do that real quick before we go back to the study of concord number. All right. Okay. So the first, okay, I'm still giving my explanation on concord number. All right. Within each group of the concord or triad numbers, the numbers share common interests and traits on a very basic level. That came in. I hope you all can still hear me, because I think I tried my phone, my device was trying to get a call, which can mute me a little bit. Is my voice heard?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Thank you. So within each group, the numbers share common interests and traits. On a very basic level, these concords can be used to predict how well you'll get along with other numbers and the likelihood of a long relationship or friendship with someone you meet. Within each group, the numbers share common interests and traits. On a very basic level, these concords can be used to predict how well you will get along with other numbers and the likelihood of a long relationship or friendship with someone you meet. To identify your personal concord, find the group that contains your reduced birthday. To identify your personal concord, find the group that contains your reduced birthday number or life path number. You'll probably find that many of your friends, romantic relationships, and people you share common interests with will be part of your concord. With these people, you'll find a natural understanding and bond. If your birthday and life path fall into different concords, you may find that you don't always know what you want. When you meet people for the first time, consider both concords and pay attention to how you relate to them on different levels. All right? I'll take this again. So identify your personal concord. Find the group that contains your reduced birthday number or life path number. You'll probably find that many of your friends, romantic relationships, and people you share common interests with will be part of your concord. Remember, the concord, they are a group of numbers that goes together, all right, which is 157248369. So that means that if by the time you calculate your birthday number or your life path number, remember your life path number is calculating your full date of birth, which means the day, the month, and the year. That's your life path number. Okay, it's either you use that or you can use your birthday number, which is the very day you were born, or you can use your attitude number, which is the birthday and the month of your birth, not including the year, the day and month of your birth. Okay, so if you do this calculation, either the attitude calculation, the attitude number calculation, or the life path number calculation, if you do any of these and you find out that the person you are doing it with, either in a relationship or just a normal friendship or co-worker or anybody in the family, it doesn't matter, but you have to, if you calculate yours, you have to calculate that of that person. So if it falls within the same concord group, which is, let's say, you calculated yours and you calculated that person's own, and your own group, when you calculated it, it falls within 157, and that person's own as well falls within 157. That means the both of you are going to be compatible. All right, you're going to be compatible in a friendship or in a relationship. The both of you can work together. So the other role of concord number, triad numbers, was 248. If you fall within that number as well, by the time you calculate your life path number or your attitude number, if it goes 248, if it falls within 248, after you break it down to the lowest number, and that other person's own happens to fall within the same 248, that's a compatibility. That means the both of you can work together. All right. And also there's a third rule of 369 as well. So now there are two separate readings to this. I have just defined and explained what the concord numbers are and how you can figure out the compatibility between you and somebody else. All right. Which means by the time you break down your life path number, you come to the last single number or your attitude number. And understand as well that it's not just these two. Remember, we have other numbers as well. We have soul numbers as well. So I will explain more on the other topic that merged with this particular one, which is the attitude um, number problem. Okay, so I have finished this part, which is the concord number. They go hand in hand with the attitude number problem. Okay, so I have finished the definition of this one. Let me go further. I'm going back to the topic where we started from, which is the attitude problem. Okay, so you know how sometimes you are on the same page with someone and sometimes you're not. This is largely due to your attitude number, which determines both your approach to life and your cycles. If you want to examine your compatibility with someone, take a look at your attitude numbers together. If your attitude numbers are in the same concord, see that was where the concord numbers came in, that I had to quickly first give the definition of concord numbers. All right. So when you calculate, when you examine your compatibility with someone, take a look at your attitude numbers together. Okay, which is the day and month of your birth. By the time you calculate it and you break it down to the last number, okay, that is your attitude number. So you calculate that of the person that you want to check the compatibility. All right. When this is how you do that mathematics. I will get there. If your attitude numbers are in the same concord, you are off to a great start. And most of the time, you and this person will be in balance. The most telling way to reveal disharmony or incompatibility is through stress numbers. Calculating a stress number is one of the only time you will use subtraction in numerology. To get there, subtract the smaller attitude number from the larger one. This is how you do that. For example, let's say by the time you calculated your attitude number and you were able to get the number 9, for instance, by the time you finished calculating your attitude number, which is the day of your birth and the month, which means let's say August 12th. August 12th is your attitude number. You don't add the year to it. All right. Maybe by the time you now calculate that attitude number, you come at a number 9. Then by the time you calculate the other person's attitude number, you came to the last number of 6 as the last single number. So you will always use the bigger number. Okay, you will subtract the smaller number from the bigger number. It doesn't matter who owns the smaller number or the bigger number, but to arrive at the attitude, to arrive at the stress number, remember, we're talking about attitude problem here. To arrive at an attitude, how do you get to know that there is a problem, okay, in your attitude number? It is by subtracting the smaller number of one person from a bigger number of another person. Okay, so the number you arrive at is going to be the stress number. Okay, whatever number you arrive at after subtracting the smaller number from the bigger number, it's called the attitude stress number. The attitude stress number. Like I said, if for instance you calculate your attitude number and you arrived at the last number 9, and you calculated another person's attitude number that you are trying to check the compatibility, okay? And that person's own was 6, sorry. What you do here is you say 9 minus 6 it gives you 3. So that 3 is what is called the attitude stress number. All right. So I hope everyone understands what we're saying. If in case you don't, here is the part where you need to ask questions before I proceed to the next level. All right. Stress numbers reveal your natural stride with another person. When you are aware of this number, you can use any challenges to your advantage. It will tell you if you can travel or work together successfully and what it will take to make the relationship work. This applies to all relationships, partnerships, family, and work connections. All right. Stress numbers reveal your natural stride. Remember, the stress number is after you have it's after you have deducted the smaller number from the bigger number. You minus the smaller number from the bigger number. The number you arrive at is the stress number. Okay? So the stress numbers reveal your natural stride with another person. When you are aware of this number, you can use any challenges to your advantage. It will tell you if you can travel or work together successfully and what it will take to make the relationship work. This applies to all relationships, partnerships, family, and work connections. When it comes to romantic compatibility, you want to look at the soul stress number as well. Okay? When it comes to romantic compatibility, you will want to look at the soul stress number as well, which that's going to be a topic for another day. I will just leave that soul stress number as a topic for another day. All right. So we all know now that we have different type of stress numbers. The soul stress number is just a different topic from this one. So I'd rather just stop at just explaining the attitude stress number. So if anyone have if there's anyone here who wants to ask a question before I start to read each attitude stress number, ask now. Because if you don't know what the attitude stress number is or how to arrive at it, then the readings will not make any sense to you. So this is where you ask question in case you're not clear. Does anyone have question? If you're not clear on how you calculate your stress number, please ask now.
Yeah, Thomas want to ask a question.
Okay, Thomas. Go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hi,
Thomas.
Yeah, please, with the calculation of the attitude stress number, mine is 14th March. So if I want to get mine correctly, it means I have to subtract the 3 from the 14th, and at the end of the day, I'll be getting 11. Is that correct?
Okay, Thomas.
Yes.
I cannot even see your face. I cannot
because
see
I'm in darkness. Let me try.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Yeah.
You shouldn't be in the dark when you're asking a question. Okay.
Okay.
So what was your question again?
I was asking that for me to get my attitude stress number, it means I have to deduct. This is how I presume to get it. My date of birth, that is 14th March. So I'll be subtracting 3 from 14. And at the end of the day, I'll be getting 11. Or how do I go about it?
Don't go too far. That's not how to do it.
Okay.
Your attitude number.
Okay.
You said March 14, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you new in this class?
Yes, today is my first time of attending the class, but I watched the previous video that you posted pertaining to the.
Okay, let me
Yeah.
explain something to you. If you want to know, the definition of attitude number is adding up the day of your birth to the month of your birth, and you break it down. When we talk about breaking down in numerology, that's uh, that's another topic of its own. Because well, I cannot blame you. You just joined the class, and you will have to understand what is going on here. So there's a way we calculate numbers in numerology. When we say breakdown, there's a way you break down numbers in numerology. Okay, that's a topic that is learned on its own, but let me teach you very quickly. All right.
Okay.
When it comes to the attitude number, that's just what I want to teach. Now, you said March 13th. That's what you said. March 13th.
14.
So, oh, March
14.
14th, sorry.
Yes.
March 14th. Now, we all know that number 3 is what represents the month March, right? 3.
Yes.
So it's now 3/14.
Yeah.
Am I correct? 3/14.
Yes.
Now, this is how you calculate it. You see the day, which is 14. You break that
Okay.
day down. That 14 becomes 1 plus 4.
Okay.
When you say 1 plus 4, it gives you 5,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Because it's more than it's under the tens now. Okay. So you have to break it down to be single.
Okay.
All right. 1 plus 4 gives you 5. The month
Okay.
was 3. 3 does not need to be broken down again. So you now
Okay.
go 3 plus that 5 that you have calculated already. So now you're adding the month and the day together. The day you broke it down from 14, it now became 5. So you now
Sure.
say the month plus the day, 3 plus 5 gives you 8.
Sure.
Okay. So
Yes.
if this number was not a single number, okay, and it went into the tens, that means you still have to break it down to become a single number. But now you already got 8, which is
Sure.
now the last number you can break it to. So 8 is now your attitude number.
Oh, okay.
All right? 8 is your
Yeah.
attitude number. So
I
how
get
do
it.
you get the attitude stress number?
Okay.
You already got yours. Let's say you want to check the compatibility between you and your girlfriend or somebody you want to get married to, just to know if the both of you can work together, all right, in terms of the marriage. Like I said, this is not related to only marriage alone. You can also check, let's say somebody wants to become your business partner. You will have to check as well what that person's day and month of birth is, which is the attitude number, so
Okay.
that you can check it if the both of you are going to be compatible as business partners or not. So now, how do you know if you're going to be compatible with this person or not? It is when, let's say you calculate the person's attitude number, which is the month and day of their birth. When we say attitude number, it's just the month and day of birth. You don't add the year to it. Okay.
Okay.
So when you now calculate that person's attitude number, which is their day and month of birth, you write it down as well.
Okay.
Now, we talked about concord or triad numbers, which
Yes.
they are
157.
the number 157
Yeah.
248 369.
And 369.
So now
Yeah.
you will now check, but after you have calculated that person's attitude number, you see where your own fell into. You were 8, which means you are under 248.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you calculate that person's own as well, it also falls within that group of 248. that means you are compatible with that person. You can work together with that person.
Okay.
If, for instance, that person's number falls into another group of 369 or 157, that means the both of you will not be compatible. Okay?
Okay.
So that is how to calculate the compatibility. All right?
Yeah.
When it comes to wanting to know if you and somebody can work together, either in marriage, in relationship, in friendship, in business, in work environments, stuff like that. Okay?
Okay.
What he was trying to say here is that most times those people you have a very good relationship with, those people you have very, very good relationship with in the physical world, by the time you calculate their attitude number, you will find out that it falls on the same triad or concord numbers with you. That's why you were compatible with that person in the first place. Now, the stress number, I mean, as I'm giving explanation to Thomas now, I believe everyone else is understanding the teaching now. We are talking about two different numbers here, compatibility number and stress number. All right. So I have explained to Thomas how compatibility can be revealed. That can be revealed by the time you know somebody else's attitude number and you know your own attitude number. You go and take a look at where your own is what you check first. What group of concord or triad numbers do you fall into with your attitude number? When you know, you check the other person's own. If that person's own falls within the same concord or triad numbers with you, that means there's a compatibility. The both of you can work together. All right. So we're going to go back into the attitude stress number, which means how to know that one is calculate your attitude number, which is the day and month of your birth. By the time you break it down to the last number, you calculate that person's own as well.
Okay.
When you do that, you subtract the smaller number from the bigger number. Then you arrive at the attitude stress number. So I haven't finished. We're still going. All right. So let's say when you calculated yours was 8. Okay.
Okay.
And the other person's own was, let's say, 5. But you now say 8 minus 5 gives you 3.
Okay.
3 is now the attitude stress number.
Hello,
so
mom.
I'm going to read each stress number. It goes from 1 to 9.
Okay.
In
Please,
numerology,
I have a partner. The date of birth, month and day is 20th June. So calculating it will be 8. 20th
let's help you.
June.
Okay, this is a good one because we're going to
Yeah.
use you, an example now, to do
Yeah.
the subtraction. So now, the other person you're talking about is 620.
My partner, yeah, 20th June.
Before I do this reading, this class is not for confusion. All right.
Okay.
When you attend this class, it helps you to understand things. Doesn't mean, oh, you have to just end that relationship with that person because, oh, you just feel like there's no compatibility. And you guys have been going on well before. This class is a class where you learn things and use what you know to help yourself. All right. Not to destroy. Okay.
Sure.
So understand this. Now, the calculation of this is, the 20th, you calculate it as 2 plus 0, which brings it to 2 again. And the month was 6. So you now say 6 plus 2 gives you 8. See, the both of you are the same. 8 plus 8. Okay? So there's nothing to subtract here. 8 minus 8 is 0. All right? So first of all, in this case, the both of you don't even have a stress number. Are you getting me? The both of you
Yes.
don't even have a number. You are so compatible with this person because you fall on the same concord or triad with this person. So the both of you are compatible. Okay. Thank God that I don't have to shoot myself on the leg now with this reading. That you happen to be very compatible with this person. You are on the same concord. You are on the same concord numbers or the word triad. All right. The both of you are on the same group. So there is a very good compatibility between you and this person. So the one we were talking about was the stress number. So the both of you in this case, you don't have a stress number. So you're good to go. 8 minus 8 gives you 0. All right. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to take the readings of the attitude number from 1 to 9. All right. By the time you deduct the smaller number from the bigger number, when you calculate you and somebody else's number, all right, whatever number you come at between 1 to 9, I'm going to take the readings of each of the meaning of each of the stress numbers. The attitude stress number 1, if you do the deduction or subtraction, you come to the number 1. After subtracting the smaller number from the bigger number, if you get 1 between you and this person, this is the attitude stress number 1. What this means is you will need to have independence between you and appreciate the individual. Guard against being selfish or stubborn. Okay? You will need to have independence between you and the other person. Appreciate the individual. Guard against being selfish or stubborn. That is what you need to know about that type of relationship. Okay? Remember, it is the knowing that we are all here for. When you know, you understand how to work with this person. All right? So in this case, when you find out that the stress number between you and this person is 1, you would need to have independence between you and this person. All right? Appreciate the individual. Guard against being selfish or stubborn in that relationship or friendship. Okay? Guard against being stubborn or selfish. You know that those are the 2 things you need to avoid in such a relationship. Not to be selfish, not to be stubborn in such a relationship. Because if you are, then the stress will start coming in. That's the stress that the both of you can have in such a relationship. When you calculate this, you subtract the smaller number from the bigger number, and you get between you and another person, and you get the number 2. This means you will need to practice patience with one another. Be sensitive to each other's needs. Okay? Be sensitive to each other's needs and compromise. You will need to practice patience with one another. Be sensitive to each other's needs and compromise. All right. We go to the attitude stress number 3. The attitude stress number 3. You will need to share fun experiences. Be sensitive to emotions and not say things you cannot come back from. Good communication is key here to avoid misunderstandings. In this case of number 3, how to deal with that person is you will need to share fun experiences. Try as much as you can to, have fun with this other person. That's the key to that kind of friendship or relationship. You will need to share fun experiences. Be sensitive to emotions. Okay? Be sensitive to each other's emotions. Don't disregard the emotions of each other. Be sensitive to it. Okay? Acknowledge each other's emotions and not say things you cannot come back from. Don't tell each other things that you'll regret saying, because once it comes out of your mouth, that is it. The other person can become resentful, for that thing that you have done. Good communication is key here to avoid misunderstandings. All right. Try as much as you can in that relationship to have very good communication with each other. So when you attitude number 4.
Please. Okay, Madam Rose, continue.
When you have attitude stress number 4, this can take some work. All right. You have to guard against being controlling and inflexible. All right. One of you or the both of you needs to take, this can take some work. You have to do the work of guarding against being controlling and inflexible. All right. Don't be controlling in this relationship. Be flexible. All right. Vulnerability with feelings, good boundaries, and a willingness to put in the work will be necessary. Vulnerability with feelings, good boundaries, and a willingness to put in the work will be necessary. All right, in that type of relationship. Attitude stress number 5. You may have a non-traditional relationship. These two kind of people, even if it is friendship, relationship, or marriage, you may have a non-traditional relationship. Okay, as one or both of you may have a need for freedom. You will also have to keep things interesting and entertaining. All right. Both of you or one may have a need for freedom. You will also have to keep things interesting and entertaining. Monotony and routine. All right. Monotony and routine will be problematic for this relationship. Boredom can lead to some epic battles. Avoid unnecessary drama. All right. Boredom can lead to some epic battles. Avoid unnecessary drama. Attitude stress number 6. Family issues can overtake this relationship, leaving the other person feeling like a second choice. Attitude stress number 6. Family issues can overtake this relationship, leaving the other person feeling like a second choice. Avoid inflexible opinions. Avoid inflexible opinions. You will both have to be responsible and stop keeping score. You will both have to be responsible and stop keeping scores. Attitude stress number 7. Attitude stress number 7. This pairing, each person requires alone time. In this pairing, each person requires alone time, which means the two people would need to have their time apart. They want to be alone. They need to give each other not say all the time, at least try to understand that the both of you would need that time alone. You can spend significant time together not speaking, just enjoying each other's energy while each doing your own thing. You see, 7s, you know that the 7s are loners. They are those people that can be reclusive, those people that can go into hermit mode. They don't want to be disturbed because they are researchers. They read a lot, they research a lot. They need their time alone to do these things. So when these type of people come together, when you, after subtracting the numbers and you get number 7, understand that the both of you would need each other, need time apart. And even though they're in the same house, they can just stay together and they won't be talking. But it's not that they have any quarrels or issues, but that's how they are. They will just enjoy themselves like that. One person will be doing one research of something, the other one will do, the house will be peaceful. Within this pairing, each person requires alone time. You can spend significant time together, not speaking, just enjoying each other's energy while each doing your own thing. A spiritual foundation of some kind is important here. You know, the number sevens are spiritual people. All right. As you know, a spiritual foundation of some kind is important here. All right. The attitude stress number 8. By the time you subtract the smaller one from the bigger one and you get number 8, there can be power struggles here. These two people can have power struggle. For this relationship to work best, you both need to let the other, okay. For this relationship to work best, you both need to let the other rule at the appropriate time, supporting instead of fighting. Your relationship may feel like it's all business. Money can be an issue. There can be a power struggle in this type of relationship of stress number 8. For this relationship to work best, you both need to let the other rule at the appropriate time, supporting instead of fighting. Your relationship may feel like it's all business. Money can be an issue. So you already know where to work on. If you are with somebody like this and you get the attitude stress number 8. So, okay, we have 0 here as well. Attitude stress number 0. There is no 9. From 8, we have 0. Attitude stress number 0. This relationship is a mirror. It's a mirror. It tends to work because you want the same thing at the same time. See what I was saying to that person? 8 minus 8 is 0. This relationship is a mirror. It tends to work because you want the same thing at the same time. On the other hand, your bad habits will also be reflected back. This relationship can become a narcissistic one. A narcissistic one. All right? Where the other person is only admired for the qualities they share. Identify your bad habits. You know what a narcissist is? Okay, so if you come at the number 0, go and study about what narcissist is, okay? A narcissist. They are very problematical. All right. This relationship is a mirror. It tends to work because you want the same things at the same time. On the other hand, your bad habits will also be reflected back. This relationship can become a narcissistic one, where the other person is only admired for the qualities they share. Identify your bad habits, and you will find real personal growth within this relationship. Okay, when you are able to identify your bad habits, okay, you'll find real personal growth within this relationship. Okay, there's a very good side to this type of relationship, and there's also a negative side to it as well. The negative side is the bad habits, not just being with that person because of one thing. But when you are able to identify the bad habits in the relationship, the both of you can work together. So that is it for the attitude stress numbers and the concord numbers as well. So if anyone have a question, please feel free to ask now.
Okay, Dauda, please, you can ask the question.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Madam, when we started with the attitude stress numbers, stress number 1, I had challenges with my network, so I didn't hear that one. I had challenges with
Okay.
with my network. I didn't hear attitude stress number 1.
Okay, hold
If
on.
you could kindly repeat that.
The attitude stress number 1, you will need to have independence between you and the other person. Okay, you and appreciate the individual. Both of you need to appreciate yourselves. Guard against being selfish or stubborn. The both of you need to avoid being selfish and stubborn in such a relationship. You will need to have independence between you and appreciate the individual. Guard against being selfish or stubborn. That is it for attitude stress number 1.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Please, if you have question, you raise your hand and mention your name. Okay. Anyone with a question? Question time, please.
Well, if anyone does not have a question again, then that means we must be good with the teaching.